auction by Stax Bowers was the type of event where coins from the Chinese catalog you only ever rarely encounter could be found. Coins like this, celebrating the Old City Hall in Hong Kong that was completed in 1869 after 2 years of construction, and different from many other public buildings is that it did not house government offices, but rather was used for public purposes. A theater, a library, even a museum were amongst the many rooms available for the public to use. This medallic dollar piece, issued in 1867, is one of the true rarities of that period, graded by PCGS as proof 62 with a strange peach and violet toning, sold at auction for $43,200. It seems like at this point it would hardly be a discussion of Chinese numismatics without eventually venturing into one of the subject of the ever-popular Panda coins. And in this case, we have an extremely large-sized 1 kilogram Panda from 1997. With a mintage of 58 coins, this one is numbered 42 in the emission sequence, as evidenced by the edge stamping to that effect, as well as an accompanying certificate of authenticity. NGC slabbed this gold 2,000 yuan piece as proof 69 Ultra Cameo, which secured it a closing price at auction of $114,000. An exceedingly rare example of an off-metal brass pattern for a 7.2 candarines, or what would be the equivalent of a 10-cent piece, is now up for display. These Anhui mint patterns, with this one dated as 1897, remained shrouded in mystery until just very recently, when in 2012 production records and materials were discovered in a German company that revealed the origins of nearly 200 dies created for Chinese coins and various provincial mints. Authenticated and graded by PCGS as SP64, this tantalizingly toned rarity was sold at auction for the sum of $288,000. Despite technically proficient work by Richard Placht, the Vienna mint engraver's lack of familiarity with the coin's subject matter ultimately doomed the coin to never make it past the pattern phase. One Chinese mint official reportedly remarked upon seeing the dies that the portrait of Sun Yat-sen bore a greater resemblance to that of German President Paul von Hindenburg than that of its intended subject, graded by NGC as MS63. This product of the Nanking Mint is exceedingly rare, and at auction it changed hands for $408,000. Then we have a presentation dollar struck in gold from the brief presidency of Cao Kun, minted in 1923 to celebrate the proclamation of the 1923 Constitution. Although commonly the coin is simply known as the Cao Kun presidential dollar, as the Constitution as it was widely considered as hastily drafted and, well, widely ignored at any rate during the chaotic Chinese warlord period. Kun is infamously known as the bribing president, as he was elected, if you can call it that, by openly bribing assembly members with 5,000 silver dollars each. PCGS gave the coin a grade of specimen 61, and when its time came on the auction block, the hammer fell for $456,000. In the early 1920s, there was a growing movement to federalize China's government, granting greater autonomy to each province, but also securing protection against invasion from rival warlords and neighboring provinces. In January of 1922, the Hunan Provincial Constitution was ratified and adopted to that extent. The Hunan Constitutional Dollar was issued to commemorate the occasion. This example is completely free from the usual friction and contact marks that this issue is widely known for. Rightly so, graded by PCGS as MS67, and at auction it sold for $456,000. From here, we present the first of a trilogy of Yuan Shikai's silver dollar coins, premiering with the traditional Fat Man dollar as the coin is commonly known, a slighting remark to the obvious profile portrait of Shikai that is the hallmark of this coin. One of only a handful of proof coins for this first year of issue type, rated by PCGS as proof 65, this tantalizing example was sold at auction for $720,000. The second spot in this trifecta of Yuan Shikai coins is the magnificent flying dragon dollar. Shikai is and will always be a rather controversial figure in Chinese history at the best of times. The historian Jonathan Spence described him rather generously as ambitious both for his country and for himself. Dueling ambitions which often would conflict with one another. This sublime coin from 1916 is today graded by PCGS as MS67, a stone's throw away from the finest known coin, and sold at auction for $840. And then the final coin to complete this hat trick is the 1914 tall hat dollar from the Tianjin Mint. This variety, bearing the signature of Luigi Gheorghi, the Italian engraver responsible for the dies, no less. Ultimately, Shikai's downfall was ensured when his ambition led him to create, or rather to attempt to reinstate the monarchy, with himself anointed as the new emperor, of course. His forced abdication only a few months later, and then his death that followed in 1916, left a power vacuum that saw China descend into a decade of warlordism, the kind of instability that arguably left the country open to foreign invasion and a brewing civil war years down the line. The coin was graded by PCGS as a specimen strike with the grade of SP67 and at auction managed to raise an eye-catching $1,170,000. In his defining treatise on Chinese coins, Edward Kahn describes the 1899 Nanking Mint 3 mace and 6 kandareens coins as, and I quote, the scarcest of all Jiangnan mint coins and a rarity amongst all Chinese coins. And while technically perfectly on point, well, it's somewhat of an understatement in practical terms. An unconfirmed mintage of 155 coins, according to Krauss, is sometimes bandied about, but a contemporary report suggesting that a great number of silver coins were melted down for recoinage also exists, which would definitely explain the population report only reflecting 4 specimens at this time, though unverified raw examples likely do exist in private collections. But for now, this finest known PCGS MS62 Plus proof-like example was sold at auction for $1,200,000. As far as numismatic delicacies go for the Chinese catalog, few coins are capable of surpassing the fabled long-whiskered dragon dollar pattern coin in terms of sheer desirability. This unadopted reverse variety was the final battle cry in the Qing dynasty's attempt to create a unified currency for the nation. With the end of the empire and the beginning of China's first republican era, this was set aside as a now relic of China's dynastic past. Graded as SP63 Plus by PCGS, this example is second only in terms of grade to another SP64 example at PCGS. At auction, it was no surprise that it was the highlights of the event, but even so, the fact that it managed to double the pre-auction estimate and close for no less than $3 million is definitely still worth noting. Subscribe to WNN and activate notifications with the bell icon so you'll know when new videos are released. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching, stay safe, keep collecting, and have a fantastic day.